So I've been sitting here at this carving table for about an hour thinking about what am I going to say in this video because these videos are the hardest videos to make. This is a tribute video. I lost a very good friend personally, but basically, forget the word friend, we'll just call her a family member. So lots of my normal subscribers know that my favorite place to go on around British Columbia is Vancouver Island. I got my best friends there, Tim and Massey, and I also have Bob and Sandy over there. Now, it was about, I'm not sure on my dates, all right? So it was about 2.5 weeks ago. My car was getting fixed. I wanted to go to the island. I don't know, something was calling me to the island because I haven't been over there in like 6 months. It was a long winter for me, and whatever. So I walked onto the ferry. My buddy Tim picked me up, and Tim and Scotty picked me up, and I stayed the night at Tim's house. And the next day, we went to Port Renfrew. That's my favorite place in the world too, Beachcomb. We went to Port Renfrew. Then Tim dropped me off at Bob and Sandy's place, and I stayed there for a night. You guys know him as F Bob, Fuck Bob. So yeah, good old Fuck Bob. So I stayed the night at Bob and Sandy's place, and we went out for Chinese dinner to a smorgasbord. Me, Bob, and Sandy, him, and his wife. Smorgasbord dinner, Chinese food in Duncan. So it's Lake Cowichan and Duncan is where I go and stay. That's where Tim lives in Lake Cowichan. Bob lives in Duncan. They're about 15 minutes away from each other. So we had a great dinner. I bought them dinner that night. I usually make Bob pay because Bob's cheap. Just kidding. Bob's not cheap. But I demanded to pay for dinner just because Bob and Sandy have always been so kind to me and let me stay at their place when I go to the island. And it feels like home when I stay at their place. Sandy always makes sure that the sheets are clean and the bedroom that I'm staying in. And yeah, so it's, yeah. Um, Bob dropped me off at the ferry, had a good little visit there. I'm sure happy that I went to the island. About 3 days when I got back, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. I just sat down at this table to carve something, drinking my coffee. I didn't know what I wanted to carve, and I got a phone call from. I see on my phone it says F Bob. Bob called me. Me and Bob always joke together. Like he gets me going, I get him going, and whatever. So it says fuck Bob. So I pick it up before I start carving. And I answer the phone. I said, "What's up, F Bob?" She's like, "Jordy." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, F Bob?" He goes, "I got something to tell you." And I thought he was messing with me. And I'm like, "What do you got to tell me, Bob?" He pauses. He goes, "Sandy's dead." So it's like, well, it's kind of like, what? It's that Bob's wife, Sandy. Sandy's dead. I'm not going to get into what he said, but she went to the hospital the night before, and he goes, whatever. They sent her home, and then she passed away, like at 9 a.m, I believe, or something it was. Don't hold me to it, but he's like, her body's still here. He goes, I just want you to know that you're the one of the people that Sandy really loved, and you're one of the people that I figured I should call and tell. So there's not really much you can say. He just kind of kept on saying that you're just one of the people that I wanted to tell, wanted to know right away. So there's not much really I could say on my behalf. I'm just like speechless. And I says, well, I'll talk to you soon, basically. So then we hung up, and it was super hard. It was like I'm not gonna lie. So when I couldn't. I was still sitting here, and I was just in disbelief. It's like your heart dropping out of your body, right? And your soul, everything leaving. I carved live, and I carved this quick wood spirit on this bark, and I put the heart on there, and I put the S on the heart. It's not finished yet. I still got to do my finish on it, but I carved this for her son. Sandy, she lost a son. I'm not too sure how old he was and stuff like that, but she had another son. I've never even met him yet. Hi, hello. I'll meet you at her service. So I'll bring this to you so you can hang it up at your house and your place and think of your mom when you see it, I hope. It's kind of just like a sleeping wood spirit. Like I said, I got to finish it. So as time went by, I didn't bother Bob. I didn't bother calling him because I know when people die, that's when everybody comes out of the woodworks and they're like, like everybody probably calling Bob and just what how most of you know how all of you know how it goes when somebody dies. So I left them alone. But I had this thought in my head. I says, yeah, I know what's coming. Bob's gonna call me sooner or later and ask me to carve a memorial piece for Sandy. So I was prepared for it, but he's like, I thought like, a memorial piece for around the yard or something like that. But the thing is, he asked me to carve the memorial piece to show at her service. He says, I'll pay you whatever you want. And the so I was like, God damn it, Bob. I says, you know what? I'm going to make this one as a gift for Sandy, from me, just because she was a huge supporter of my art. Sandy was an artist herself. She did these wicked little, I think they were kind of like paint by numbers with like pencil crayons or little pens. I'm hoping to get one of those from you, Bob, to hang in my place. But yeah, she was a huge supporter of my art, even when I was painting. Bob is too. Even when I was painting, I think I gave them one of my paintings, and they paid a lot of money to get it framed. But when I first started chainsaw carving, Bob and Sandy bought the place on the island. They're normally from New Westminster on the mainland here, but they moved, luckily enough to get a new house on Vancouver Island in Duncan, and it's like kind of like a forest area. So Bob says, "Bring your saws over, carve whatever you want, whenever you want." So so long story short is I started chainsaw carving, and Bob let me carve at his place whenever I wanted. So some of my first chainsaw carvings are at Bob's place. So this is an honor to make for you, Bob. Sandy means the world to me. It's like losing. It's almost like losing a mom. I don't know what else I can say more than that. Like sometimes we're just speechless. So I'll explain what this sign is later. But at first, my good friend Lawrence printed these off for me. At first, I just said Sandy, and but then I said no, I want to do Sandy's place. So thanks, Lawrence, for doing that for me. If you watch this video. So this isn't going to be too much carving, but I'm going to show you guys how I carve this out. I'm going to carve these letters out, and we're going to do an epoxy pour. Sandy is a huge. She says she has Viking blood. She loves Viking stuff. I did a tribute for her lost son. It's like a Viking with it wearing a helmet. It's out in the yard. And so I think I'm going to carve. Actually, one of my favorite carvings I did, it was a piece of driftwood. I carved a Viking face in it, and I put like a deer antler in there and a horn. And I posted it on Facebook, and like probably I'd say about 30 people messaged me and wanted to buy it off me. Sandy was one of them, and Sandy, I sold it to Sandy because I wanted her to have it because I know how much she appreciates my art. And I forget what else I was going to say, but let's kind of get on with this, and we'll talk more about Sandy as we go through the video and what this sign's about. So this is a piece of Western red cedar fence board. It's about 18 inches long. They say it's a 1x8, but it's like 7.25 thick, and it's not a true 1 inch thick. It's like whatever, 3/4 of an inch. I've left it square, the top and the bottom square, so then you can measure to try and get your things on straight. I'm not my printing's like a 2-year-old could do better printing than I could do, so it's always good for me to get this stuff printed off. Now, what I did, this is transfer paper. you can look at this transfer paper and see how many times it's been used. You don't just use your transfer paper once. You can use it a bunch of times. Like I've used this on like 4 different things, and look, still comes out good. So that's all you do is you get yourself some transfer paper on Amazon or wherever you get it, and that's what you do. You put this on. Another thing too is I want to say, when you print it out, it's good to do like not the solid letters, but make just like lines there, because it's easy to see where you've done with the pen, because you don't want to miss any areas. So, but all I do when you got the thick black stuff, I just use a red pen so I can see that I got everything right. See how that works? And this is just a full-on Dremel video, so anybody can do these kinds of signs. So like this edge is straight here, but until I get this sign on and placed like there, I'm going to keep it straight. But now later I'm going to carve it so it looks like a kind of like a live edge piece, right? And I think I'm going to probably end up carving some Viking rune here and Viking rune here in Sandy's honor, and I think she'd probably be happy with that. And also, it's about Sandy. And Bob, thank you for asking me to make this for you. Now, here's a Dremel 4000, a brand new one. David Grass bought this for me. In here is a wall tile cutter bit. I buy this sets on Amazon. They're like, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks. You get different sizes in here. I think these are the best to, I think they're the best to do the sides, like knife start, because you get, slow the fuck down, Jordy. You get nice sharp edges when you use those little pieces, all right? So you get these ones on Amazon, wall tile cutter bits. I did start using, when I started carving wood spirits, I bought a Roto Zip one at Home Depot for my wood spirit beards. So this, you guys, when you buy your Dremel, you get this bullshit pack with like, here's a knife sharpening thing and a stupid guard thing so you don't burn or get metal in your eyes or whatever. This is the one that comes in handy for the very beginning carvers or whatever you want to be. I use it. This would go on your Dremel, and it would be for removing grout or the wall tiles or whatever. So I use this as a router. So all you do is you just turn this off here and you screw this on. Right? So that it's on there. So now I'm not going to be able to film too much doing this, rotering this out, but you can see my point. There it is, and just put it on there. And this is when you want to really take your time. That's me being a hypocrite. So you can set your depth, like you see the piece here. That's what it's going to be on the wood. Let's see if we can show you. So that's how deep it's going to be. Okay? So you can just adjust this. You have to watch this. This stuff's junk. It's made in Mexico or whatever. So you can adjust it just by that screw there. And then raising this or lowering this. See that? Now, from my experience using these, you do have to watch this screw coming undone, and then this sliding back, and then your bit going in there deeper. All right? Does that make sense? So it's all plastic. The screw might come undone a bit, and this might slide back, and then all of a sudden that bit's gone way deeper into your carving. So, but this is a great way for the very beginners. There are some people that don't have a lot of money to buy a router to make some signs. So that's what we're going to do. This Dremel here, I'm going to hook it up to this foot pedal. I got this little Wen foot pedal. This is just the on-off. Okay? I suggest getting one of these. This is good. It's metal. It's small. So I'm going to plug my Dremel into this and plug it into the wall, so I won't have to keep on turning my Dremel on and off with my friggin' right here, right? It's just nice to do it with your foot. You can put the thing in place, use your foot, and start carving in. Like I said, I'm not going to be filming too much using this because my camera's on the overhead mount, and this is all you would see. I'll try and do it and hold it, but all I'm going to do at the first is follow these lines the best I can, and then we'll probably hook up another burr to scoop these, make it deep inside these letters. You don't have to use this, but most of you that have a Dremel do have this. You can just use a burr like this, and then go on the inside of the lines and carve all that out. You don't have, like I said, repeat. You don't have to have this. So, anyways, let's get set up. Okay, so luckily enough, I had a little tripod here. So, I just want to show you doing the on-off with the foot pedal. So this is like so you can use both your hands. That I'll leave a link to that Wen foot pedal on Amazon in the description below. I think it's like $10 or something, or $15. I like it. It's just a neat little pedal. All right, so I use this big gap here so I can see in there better. It's good to have good lighting so you can see what's happening. Let's just turn her on and start cutting. It's hard because I want to put my hand here and get in the way, but let's see if we can do it. Okay, I don't think I need to show any more than that, so I'm going to get all these letters carved out, and I'm going to use the same bit to hollow out the S and all the other letters too. So this is a good time to put some music on, put your dust mask on, and enjoy what you're doing. The more you take your time, the better it's going to be. All right, I got all the fun stuff done. I sketched on some Viking runes. There's one here, and there's one there. Nothing on this piece is perfect. You got to remember that it's handmade. It's not done by a milling machine. So, like if you look at the P, there's a little dent in there. It's perfectly fine. And another thing too that I've noticed that I kind of space these far apart, but I'm the only one that's going to notice that. Nobody else is going to notice that. You could carve some mountains in here or something, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. So now what I'm going to do is take it to my chainsaw shop and cut out the edge with the bandsaw. Why it's good to leave lots of space on this before you cut out your edge, because when you got that Dremel thing on there, that piece I showed you, the router piece, you want to be able to make it so it doesn't fall off the edge and tilt over. So it's good to leave lots of room. Then once you get it all carved in and cleaned out, then cut the edge. And it's just my opinion and suggestion. So over to the chainsaw tent to cut out this shape with the bandsaw, sand the edge, burn it, and then carry on. Okay, so back at the home fort. I burnt this wood here a little bit, and I sanded it just because when this piece is done, I'm hoping maybe some of the tints of the burning will come out. I burnt the side good. I decided I was thinking about sanding it. I had the round edges first, but I says, you know what? I think Sandy would like the pointy edges, so I gave this one kind of some points on it. These signs, they're a lot of work. Now, so because I'm set up for the epoxy pour now, what I got here is this. I've used this stuff before, so I know it works. This is the Rust-Oleum matte clear. So when you pour epoxy on this cedar, like a thicker one here, there's gases in this wood. So when I pour in this Y, the gases would come out of the wood and bubble, and you don't want the epoxy to be bubbled. So I sprayed some of this can into this paper cup, and all I'm going to do in these letters here is go around and put it inside the letters. It doesn't matter if it gets on the outside, because like I got to do lots of sanding once this epoxy's done. So that's that anyway. So I'll get this done. I'll let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow is the epoxy pour. So it's now the next day. That clear coat is dry. I don't know if I said I put the clear coat in there to seal the cedar so it's not able to bubble when I put the epoxy pour in there. So this is the deep pour epoxy, the magic resin. I'm not going to film doing this because that's when lots of swearing goes on. I'm still learning how to use epoxy. I got some gloves here. I don't know if I said earlier in the video, but Sandy's birthstone color was mother of pearl. So I just happen to have some white pearl here to mix into the epoxy for Sandy's name. So it'll kind of be like shiny. This is micro powder. Now I messaged Bob and I said, "Hey Bob, what's because I wanted to separate Sandy's place from these Viking things, so you can tell that it's just Sandy's place and then those different things." So I messaged Bob and asked Bob Sandy's favorite color, and he said light blue. So I have this skylight blue pigment that I'm going to do for the Viking runes. Now I don't know if this mother of the pearl and the blue colors will match. I think it will go along. Those aren't my favorite colors. It doesn't matter because this is not about me. This is about Sandy. Yeah. Anyways, so I'll get this mixed up. I'll get it poured into here. Now I got this deep pour. I'll probably have to wait 3 or 4 days to sand it. Yeah, it's mess time. Make a mess, Jordy. Mess time. I will say to anyone wanting to use this epoxy, make sure you mix it up good, because if you don't mix this up good enough, you are going to get sticky stuff and it's never going to cure properly. Yep. Okay, so this is what we got. I took it to my chainsaw tent once this epoxy was dry. I didn't have much notice to carve this piece, basically a week, but you can see the abalone colors in there, the white. I'm not 100% satisfied with the blue color. Let's see if we can make it so it's not so lady. I could paint the epoxy, that blue color, black, but you know what? I think it is what it is. If Bob wants me to paint it black in the future, I could paint it over black. And so there you go. There's how to make a plaque for a friend or with epoxy. You don't have to put epoxy in there. You could have, when I hold out these letters, you could have just painted a color inside there. And for all you that are normally subscribed to the channel, you should know me by now that, well, how can I say this? Sandy was an important person to me, and I had a big spot in my heart for her. I don't like a lot of people, and I really like Sandy, and I thought of her as a family member. So I didn't just make this for. I made something else and we'll show you in a second here. Okay, stand by. So here I am at my carving tent, chainsaw carving tent. This is a really old piece of cedar that I've saved for a few years. Got some really beautiful colors in it. There's a chainsaw I used to block it out. I had to slope the back, the thing in the back for the sign so you could see the sign properly. Next you'll see is a Kutzall shaping disc I used there. And I spent about a good 8 hours on this thing itself. I'd say a good 6 hours sanding it to get the grain to really pop. Beautiful old cedar. To Sandy, keep those sheets clean. Love your friend, Jordy Johnson, 2024. My little J that I do. I'm not going to say that I didn't struggle with this clear coat. I did. I just gave it the final coat and it's got some little bumps on it. That's okay. This is how it turned out. Now, I'm still not 100% sold on these blue ones. Bob can decide later if he wants to paint those a different color. But you can see the mother of pearl there. That's her birthstone. I had some little mushrooms. I glued some mushrooms in there. This is just moss I glued in there. If Bob does want to put this outside, I don't suggest to put this outside because this is all I gave it, like 100 coats with this matte clear coat, this Rust-Oleum. This stuff that doesn't hold out very good outdoors. Maybe put some spar urethane over top of it. But that's it. Now, some of you might be wondering the Viking runes, and the one I chose them, those ones. This one means true love, music, and harmony. I chose that one because I believe Bob and Sandy, even though they bickered at each other all the time, they were the true love. Um, Sandy, when I'm outside smoking my cigarettes out on the deck there, I'd hear Sandy inside singing. She actually never sang in front of me, but I would hear her singing. So it's the harmony, music and harmony. Now, the other one is divine protection and sanctuary. Now, some people might be wondering why it says Sandy's place. Well, Bob's future project was going to be, since I said earlier in the video that Sandy likes doing art. He was gonna build her a little art studio out back, and it's for where people can out back his property there, where people can stay, and it will have Aunt Sandy's art stuff there, and she could do her paintings or pen work or whatever she wanted to do. A little sanctuary for Sandy, but Sandy's gone. But I asked Bob about it, and he says he still wants to build it. So we'll see. So Sandy's place, Bob, if you do build her place, that's what I originally did a sign for the door, but you can pull this off here. It's epoxied on, but you can pull that off, or you can put this. You can put it. It's just a reminder for you, for Sandy. Long story short. So I did something else. Since I've been getting to epoxy, here's a little epoxy owl. It's in the mother of pearl too, but I mixed some blue in there, some light blue, because that's Sandy's favorite color. Because these colors aren't actually light blue. Oh, also, I could have cut these in like perfect templates, but I said, no, I'm going to do them myself, draw them out myself, and cut them in so it's freehand, right? But this is just an epoxy pour. So I thought I was going to glue this up there, but Bob can place that where he wants to place it. And I had some extra epoxy. So this is a rubber mold my buddy's wife talked me into doing for dish soap or bathroom soap. So I had the extra molds, the extra epoxy, so I did this. And hey, Bob, it doesn't have to be for soap. We can use it for an ashtray when we're sitting out on the deck smoking. So anyways, there's that too. So, but, I don't know. These pieces are the hardest pieces to make. This will probably be this. They're just too hard to make for friends that are gone. I don't know if you guys can see the true color of the cedar, but you can see it all comes down here and stuff like that. So, yeah, really nice looking old first growth cedar. So that's that. So there's one more thing I want to show you. It's not a grand finale. It's just kind of like a tribute thing to Sandy. I still got one more upgrade to do on this. It's done. I'm not going to lie. I use string lights, and let's hit the lights and turn the lights on. Sandy, we're turning the lights on for you. And Bob has sent me some pictures, and I grabbed some pictures off Facebook of Sandy, so it's going to be a little tribute to Sandy. End of the video here. And if you guys can please leave below in the comments that you're sorry for Bob, please. Bob likes to read the comments. And another thing too, it's going to be the very last picture that I show is going to be Sandy loves antiques, and she's got a bin full of antiques when they moved from New Westminster to the island. And the day that Sandy passed away, Bob and Sandy were going through the bin, and Bob got her an old bike with a basket on it, and he pulled it out for her, and he actually got her pictures on the bike. She's smiling, super happy, and she's sticking her tongue out, being cheeky, but those pictures of Sandy are of the day that she died. Oh, one other thing, where's that carving here that I did for her son? I believe his name's Darren. I haven't met him, but I guess I'll meet him at the service. So I'll take that for them too. Finish that. So anyways, let's hit the lights. See how this looks with the lights off. I haven't seen it yet. I think we got service out here. I just got a new message.
No way.
There's Bob, F Bob, his wife.
Yeah.
You guys want to say hi?
Hello, everyone.
And we are out in the middle of nowhere. Tim is gone to get.
The rest of
We're on a little island, an hour outside of Lake Cowichan, surrounded by a lake. Tim's got the boat. There's a little boat thing there. And Tim's gone to get Massey, my other best friend. There's Tim and there's Massey, my best friends. And Bob's my best friend too. And they're going to freaking thing. And but yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just don't know what to say.
And there's his other best friend,
hopefully
Sandy.
They're coming back for us.
And Sandy's my other best friend.
And hopefully they're coming back for us.
Yeah, because it's not that far, but I ain't swimming.
How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing really good.
Awesome hat.
Thank you. Nice and
Yeah.
toasty warm.
Good. There's a fire pit here, so I'm going to turn the camera on here. Good. So I want to say, I said this is an hour out of Lake Cowichan. I want to say that anybody guesses where we are right now, what lake this is. I'm not going to say what lake this is. What lake this is, I'm going to send them a carving. Leave a description. It's just going to be a little wood spirit. I'll send you. I'll send it around the world. But like I said, we're on Vancouver Island, an hour outside of Lake Cowichan, on a lake, on a little island around a lake. If you can guess what lake we're at, you might have to use Google Maps. The first person that guesses it wins a little carving
It's not really fair. You should go up and do a panorama so they can.
No.
Oh.
There's cheaters out there, Bob.
Oh.
Like Sandy.
Okay, give them the woodshed, because unless they've been here before, the woodshed, they wouldn't know.
Okay. So here's your only clue. Maybe you can see this shit on Google's Maps. Sandy's drunk. She's getting drunk, so she's all active. Bob's wife, fuck Bob's wife. She gets active when she gets some drinks in her. That's when she starts moving.
Hey, Gord, does that washer just float there?
Yeah, it is.
Carving
that washer floats there, so you don't grind the friggin' thing anyways.
Perfect.
So you want to say bye, Tim?
Bye, Tim. No.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. It's been awesome.
Sandy, you're pretty happy right now?
I'm very happy.
Yeah.
He's making me laugh.
There's
Fuck Bob.
There's Fuck Bob. That's always the host of the island. And there's Mass. Sorry, Bob. Yeah, we got some pizza on the thing there.
Look at that.
Holy.
Take a shot of that.
Flame broiled pizza.
Yeah, Bob's got pizza on the fire.
What does that mean?
Oh, look at that. Look at the lake. Look at Tim. Those you take pictures and you flip it upside down.
Reflection on the lake.
Yeah.
It's not wicked,
No, but look down here, like the whole fucking top.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I don't remember that being there before.
No, that's trippy, man.
I know.
It's a reflection.
Yeah.
Like the lake's here.
I wonder if I could pan that.
Kathy
Where did these all go?
In the big box, Mass.
I had my good chuckle
Dave?
the other day.
I thought you were just doing some squiggly lines, but it looks cool.
People I haven't seen in years.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, that's big last time you were taking a picture.